I actually found God or became a Christian before I went to San Quentin. But I found a deep relationship with God when I got in prison. I ended up in San Quentin. Well, obviously I did something wrong. That's why you go to prison. The specific crime was grand theft embezzlement. I was a real estate developer back in the late 80s and early 90s. And basically what I did was I was all about the ends. I figured they would justify the means. And we had a lot of real estate projects that were failing, but I had some other real estate projects with limited partners that I borrowed the monies from those projects without telling the partners that I was borrowing the money to finish off some other real estate projects, and then hoping I would get those sold and then put the money back into the bank account before the partners knew about it. But the recession came, wiped all of our projects out, and ultimately there was no money left, and the partners went to the district attorney. They pressed charges against us, and that's how I ended up going to prison. I remember when I was inside of prison, and I remember curled up in a ball wanting to die. And it was one evening, and somebody had come over to me and said, when you get through this prison experience, you'll be look back and be glad you went through it. I thought that was the stupidest thing I ever heard. I saw nothing good that could come from this prison experience. There's nothing good from San Quentin. I shouldn't be here. I was a white-collar criminal. I should not have spent time inside these big prison walls. I never thought I'd make it out. I thought I was going to die in prison. I still remember asking other inmates, how do you commit suicide? That's how desperate I was. And I can tell you with 100% conviction and honesty that I am so glad that I went through that prison experience, that I went to and through San Quentin. And I would change nothing about it. When I first got out of prison, I would tell my testimony at churches, gatherings. Then after a while, I kind of almost got tired of hearing my own story. You know, it's my own testimony. You tell it enough times, you don't want to have to go in front of people and tell it. And sometimes people say, you should write a book on your life. I'm thinking, oh, you know, would it be that interesting? But then Tyndale came to me and said, you know, there might be something there. Not just your story, but all the people you spent time with. It's not the Bill Dallas story. There's a story of lessons from San Quentin. They actually came up with the title to use San Quentin in the title. And that's what I said, wow, that could be a cool book, because it's not so much just about me, it's about all the people I spent time with, the people that helped me get through life, and some of the principles and techniques that they taught me that helped work in my own life, I was able to share in a book. So I wrote the book for a few kinds of people. One is people that are going through struggles. We all have difficulties. A good friend of mine says the most difficult thing about life is that it's daily. And we have difficult times. And I went to one of the most difficult places you can imagine on the earth, and I survived. And through, again, steps that I was taught inside of prison, I believe those steps can help people that are going through difficult times. I also wrote this book for people that think God doesn't work in somebody's life, because I saw him profoundly work in my life to build my faith up, to teach me what real community is about, to show me that I really am gifted and talented, because he gifted and talented me with those gifts and talents. So I wrote it for those people. And then I also wrote it for people that want to go a little bit deeper in the relation with God. The people who I saw that had the deepest relationship to Jesus were the people in San Quentin prison. And so I hope this book helps people either go deeper in their faith, to overcome their difficulties, to find their passions, their unique callings that God has given them. All of those things, that's the reason why I wrote this book.